Hello, how's everybody doing? This is a segment on being a vegan, okay? I think it's number 3 or 4, I'm not sure. But the number one thing I want to do is I have a recipe for a snack. I don't like to call it pie, I don't like to call it pizza. I just want to say, I'm just going to call it mustard tomato, okay? Mustard tomato pie or something like that. That's one thing I want to do. But I also want to talk about the different types of vegans because there's so many things that people say, I'm vegan, I'm vegan, I'm vegan. So that's another topic I want to cover. And the other one is being a successful vegan. And I want to tell you some things. I've been a vegan for a long time. I believe I can feel that I'm kind of like a successful vegan because I did a lot of things. I don't like to say things like that unless I really, really know. And because you can say something and then something happens, but I'm saying that sort of because I've made it this far. Not so much that I know everything now. It's just that I made it this far as being a vegan, and I want to say how to be a successful vegan. Okay, that's the title, honest title that I can give you. Okay, now, one thing because I touched my hair, but I know that you have to be very careful because I'm doing this food and everything. But it's just me, so I pretty much don't care. I mean, don't care. Not that I don't care. It's just that I'm me. But if I'm with somebody or if I have somebody in the house that may even try anything, I make sure that I wash my hands all the time. But you may see me not really worry about it so much because it's just me here and that's it. Okay. And but anyway, I'm gonna try to do that. It's just that I know I put my hands in my hair and then I might. But anyway, I'm gonna be careful. Okay, just to show you an example of all these things that we have to do. So I have my towel here. So anyway, I'm gonna wash my hands. I got soap here. If I just touch my hair, okay. Now, the first thing I want to do is do the rest. This is I preheated the oven at 425, and I want to make a pizza dough, and I think it's ready. So I'm gonna go over here a little bit. I don't like to. I know there's a lot of things that I can do, but I don't majorly do these types of videos. Maybe later on. So then I'll have something that swivels or whatever or whatever or whatever. But right now, this is the way we're gonna do it. Since I don't do segments like this too much, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I bought pizza dough, okay? I put it in the square because that's what I had. I had a square pan. I don't have the round one. And this is just a regular pizza dough I got at Harris Teeter in DC. Okay, they're popular here and they're popular in Northern Virginia. But since everything is so expensive nowadays, I just wanted to tell you it's very cheap because I pretty much got everything under $10. And I have to tell you that because nowadays you have to be careful. I have to be careful with everything because I'm trying to do all these things with my teeth. I'm trying to do all this stuff, and there's so many problems and things are so expensive, so I have to be very careful. So I got chocolate milk, okay, and that's the almond milk that I got. That has nothing to do with it, but I'm just telling you. So it's under $10 actually. So I got Roma tomatoes, and I got these little tomatoes, okay, and I got like, let me see, how much did I get? Anyway, the bunch that I got ended up being $3.94. So this is $3.94, okay. Um, so that's about, it's over 10, or 10 pieces, small, okay? So I got the Roma tomato, that's what they call them. I got the jus roll pizza roll. This is something I haven't done this in a long time, but this is the way they sell it nowadays, okay? And I got this. I don't know if it's really good, but it seems like it is, okay? So I got that pizza dough. I got it for the square thing. I got it for the square pan, okay? I put parchment bread, I put parchment paper under it, okay? I got a little experience since I do work in a bakery. I don't bake that much, or I'm actually I don't really bake. I'm a gopher. I do everything that everybody wants me to do. So, but I've learned there. I do bake some things. So I learned a little bit. I got mustard, Dijon mustard. Okay. And I got the cheaper one, Harris Tweet. I wanted so bad to get the nice Dijon mustard, but I just can't. I gotta be very careful now. And as something that I would like is I got an avocado. Now, after I never heat avocados, I don't know why. I just in my mind I like to. Whenever I eat them, I like for them to be at their room temperature, any kind of room temperature. So what I do is I usually make whatever I have to make, and I top things with avocado, fresh avocado. Okay. So I'm gonna do the pizza. I call it pizza now. But we're gonna call it mustard tomato pie. Okay, let's make it mustard tomato pie, mustard tomato pizza, vegan pizza, or whatever. I don't really know what I'm gonna call it yet. So I got that. And those are all the ingredients. There's one thing that I miss. I wanted to put some spice on it, like a thyme. Thyme. Okay. Some people say thyme is spelled like. I mean, you the spice thyme. They say it's supposed to be pronounced thyme, but a lot of people don't realize this is linguistics, highly linguistics. Whenever you say something. And maybe it might be real popular later on in life, but there's, especially in American English. In American English, it's the way you say it. Not so much in British English, they listen to all the sounds and how the words are said, but it's very, very highly intellectual, highly, it's very, intelligent, if I can say that. And everybody has their culture. I think American culture, I'm not going to say everybody thinks their country is the best, and I find things from every country. I work with a lot of people who are French, and they're very intelligent also. And I learned a lot from them. But I'm saying in American culture, you can learn a lot by the way you say things. There's so many ways to say things. So when I was talking about time, like I was talking to somebody and they go, it's supposed to be pronounced like time, okay? But no matter what you do, if I say time, and I'm talking about time, and you're not going to learn this anywhere, especially not in school. And then, because it's out, it's not new. It's not something that you're going to hear somewhere else. It's something, I'm not saying that I came up with, I know other people understand it, but it takes a lot of self-study to understand this. And then if I say time, like the spice, no matter, you should, if you really, really understand certain things subconsciously, you're going to hear it differently. You're going to feel it differently. So I say time. So it's impossible, what I'm trying to say, to pronounce it like time, because they're two different things. They're two different feelings. Okay? So I'm going to say time. Okay? So I didn't bring the time. Okay? And it's just something that I learned. I'm not saying I pronounce it perfectly. I'm just saying when you say something, the feeling, you want to feel it. Okay? So anyway, that's something that I learned from myself. And I was looking to see, because I bought spices, and I wanted to see if I had a spice in place of thyme. And I don't think I do, but maybe I do. I'm not going to put organic clove. And I guess I don't. Ground garlic. Oh, no, ginger. There's no garlic. Okay, so anyway, it appears that, except for pepper, I don't really have a spice to replace thyme. Okay? So anyway, we went over the how much it costs, so I can finish that. This pizza thing is done. I went over that. I can smell the oven. It's done. So anyway, I'll put that. Okay. Oh, I got these glasses. Okay. So anyway, I like to keep things clean. I learned that from the bakery that I work at too. But I'm not really a professional at the bakery or anything. I don't even want to talk. I just, clean things. I make sure inventory. I just do everything manually, physical trash or whatever. So, and it's very important though. But anyway, now because I made this like this, I put that already made dough, okay? And believe me, dough is a big deal. They say it's easy, but I work in a bakery, so many things that you have to do if you want to do it right, you know? And there used to be an au vin, but they had the French who came here. I don't think it would work out in different countries, because different countries, if you're from another country, they want to make sure their people are employed. And they would say like, well, you're not going to do it here. We don't care. But in America, they're really into whatever's the best. So we had au vin, okay? We had au vin, and I worked for au vin. And it's funny because now I'm working for a real French bakery. But au vin was something that was pretty much American. It was very good. It shocked everybody to have French pastries. It was just like a shock. And then au vin just like blew up. Even when I saw it, it was like, wow, there's French pastries. But then the French came in and said, wait, yes, but these are French pastries. And they started doing everything with their perfection. And they kicked au vin out the way. I'm almost sure that's the way it happened. I grew up, I saw it, it happened, okay? But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is I don't really say too much about dough. I'm just happy that somebody got it, like this, because this is easy. I mean, easier for me. So anyway, I'm going to cut the edges because it's kind of overflow, okay? And I guess I can cut these edges out because it's over the pan, you know what I mean? It was a little bit too big. And believe me, cutting that is something that learned in the bakery also. There's no way in the world I could even do that like easy like this. You'd be surprised. So anyway, the first thing they say is bake this for, let me check this out. Bake this for like 5 minutes. Now, before I start baking it for 5 minutes, I want to show you how to do the tomatoes though. So we're going to put this aside. Oh wow, I dropped that thing. I just don't want to talk about it. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to show you how I cut these tomatoes. And this is now we're talking about the vegan pastry pie. I guess we can call it Dijon mustard vegan pastry pie, pizza pie, something like that. It could be pastry, it could be pie, okay? So anyway, now I want to get another bowl to put these things in. Okay. Always, one thing I learned is try to keep it, no matter what, I learned this from being alone, living alone. Always try and keep your things clean, okay? I do it for other reasons, for like, you don't have bugs. I don't like mice around. I know if you keep things out, you will see them, okay? And just keeping everything nice and clean, okay? So what I did is I keep this thing so I can throw this out. And then I'm cutting, I wish I could show you, let me see if I can show you what I'm doing. I'm gonna crank this down so then I can show you. I can't wait to where when I do these videos, everything will be like, I can get whatever I want. Okay, so you see how I'm cutting them? Just in little slices. Okay, so you see how I'm cutting it in little slices. So I want to do that with all the tomatoes because I know they're going to fit on that thing. And I'm sure you, but I want to cut these tomatoes because and that's only going to be 5 minutes. So I might cut a few, and then I'll put the dough in the oven. It says pre-cook it for 5 minutes. So I'm making them kind of thin because the tomatoes are going to overlap. And now I'm getting ready to put that dough in. So anyway, I'm just showing you how I'm doing this. And then when it's cooking, I can pretty much talk about the other things that I want to talk about. I bought these knives at I forgot, TJ Maxx. Was it TJ Maxx? Yeah, no, TJ Maxx. It must have been something else. I guess it was TJ Maxx. Very sharp. The name of it is Cuisinart. Cuisinart. Very nice. So anyway, I'm cutting these tomatoes. I do cut tomatoes at work, so that's why I like to do everything like really neat. Okay, and this, I'm going to put this towel up here. Cut the little top off, like you see. Do it over and over again so you can see. And then so I wanted to do this for a long time, but I don't like to put messed up tomatoes. This one has like a little mess up thing. But basically, you cut them all the same, very thin, not too thin, but pretty much thin because you're going to stack them, okay? I know from experience that all these tomatoes are going to fit some kind of way. I like to keep the tomatoes like this because it's easy to put them on. Put them on, you know, transfer them onto that plate, okay? So now, but I'm gonna wait. I still wanna put that in. I'm getting ready to sneeze. Okay, I'm sorry. So anyway, I'm gonna cut all the tomatoes and then we can talk a little bit. So now we're just about, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tomatoes. Remember that, because you can see that should pretty much cover. You don't want to lay the tomatoes like one tomato and then another tomato. You want to put them on top of each other because the tomatoes shrink when they're hot. When they cook, they shrink a lot. I'm sorry I didn't get that time. But you know, that's the way things go. Maybe it was so expensive. I didn't want it to be so expensive. Because now I'm not doing really all that great because I told you, I had this problem with my teeth. I had to do a tooth thing. It's funny because I learned something, which I'm pretty much sure because I didn't went through so many things with my teeth, is it seems like when you get a cavity, you can get the cavity filled, you know? But I think the cavity is good because it leaks out this, I know this is talking about the teeth and I'm cooking, but it's just, I can handle it. This is a very good thing that I learned. Sorry to say, but the dentists are so expensive now. Sometimes I think when you need a cavity, they want you to get a root canal all the time. It seems so bad. Back in the day when we were coming up, if you had a cavity, they would just say, okay, let's fill your cavity. Nowadays, if you have a cavity, they want you to get a root canal, which is way more expensive, especially nowadays. So, anyway, I said that to teach you something else that I learned in life, is that it seems like the cavity is good. I mean, I'm saying it's not good. I'm just saying it's better because my tooth that I had a problem with, it didn't have a cavity, and I knew something was wrong. So what happened was when the tooth like died or whatever, it gave me an abscess. So I think that's one thing that I noticed, that when you have a problem with the tooth and it doesn't have a cavity, because a cavity you can just feel it. If it doesn't leak out that whatever, it gives you an abscess. I'm almost sure that's what it is, from my experience. So don't say too bad about cavities, because whenever I had a cavity, I was able to feel it. Or nowadays, like you said, you go through a root canal, and that was it. But without the cavity, it appears that it goes in the wrong direction and it gives you an abscess. So anyway, that's the problem that I had now. I had to learn so much from that. That's just something I wanted to tell you on the side. I was talking because I'm trying to fill time now, because I was doing these tomatoes. But anyway, that conversation is over with. Now we're going to I'm going to read this again and make sure. I'm going to put the dough in for about 5 minutes. And then we're going to talk about the different types of vegans. Okay, so it says like right here. Okay, this one has no artificial flavor colors, no high fructose corn syrup, no bleached flour, no GMO ingredients. Okay, so I'm just letting you know if you want to buy this type. Pre-rolled dough on baking paper, and it was on baking paper, but I didn't use their baking paper because I already have baking paper. And I could have put onions, but we're just gonna do this like this. I had something like this before, exactly like this, plain, without putting other things. And so anyway, now we're gonna go to the instructions to see this. Baking on paper is ovens 425, like I already did. Avoid direct contact with, okay, what am I doing? Regular oven. Let me see. Pre-baked dough at 425 for 5 minutes. So that's 425 for 5 minutes. So now I'm gonna bake this dough for 5 minutes. I gotta have you move over here, okay, so you can see what I'm going to do. Can you see that? Okay. Anyway, I gotta just put this in. Okay, so it's in the oven at 425, and I want 5 minutes. I got a other clock that I could. Okay, but it's 425. Let me see. I don't know if the time is 425. I don't think so. But anyway, I got this time here. We're actually gonna wait. We're gonna wait 5 minutes. Okay. If I could leave and get my other watch for 5 minutes, and I could tell you the 5 minutes straight. But then I have to get off screen, which I don't like getting off screen, okay? I just don't like it. Okay, in this one, okay, so the best thing I could do as far as time is it's 23. So let's say I'm doing the time, it says 23, and I put in 23, so 24, it's 23 minutes that I've been talking. 23, so I'm going to say 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. When it hits 29 to 30 minutes, okay, that's right. So it's 20. Oh, now it's to make it even. I mean, I already just put it in. I'm going to wait until it's 24. 24. Okay, 24. And with 24 plus 5 is 29 minutes. So at 29 minutes, I'm going to take the pre-heated pizza or pre-cooked pizza out. Then it says put the toppings on. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait to show you what toppings I'm going to put on. Remove from oven, add toppings, continue to bake for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. So anyway, so we're going to wait. Now we're going to talk about 5 minutes. As you can see, I have these things lined up like this, okay? And you can see how that is. Actually, I can roll it down so you can see that. Anyway, you can see it like right there, right? Okay. Okay, and you can see how I cut them. Okay. Try to keep everything neat. I've always, when I live by myself, I always put food in a plastic bag. I don't, never, I mean, there's only so much you can put in the garbage disposal. Let me crank this back up. Um, there's only so much that you could put in a garbage disposal, but I never like to put food in the garbage can because of the smell. And in the apartment, it takes away the freshness of the smell of the apartment because I don't really open windows because I don't want any bugs in, really. And it's not like the best apartment in the world. So anyway, we have that. So now let's talk about. I'm going to do songs, more songs lately. Okay, but no, that's another subject. Um, let's talk about vegan. Okay, there's all different kinds of vegans. Okay, I have to stress that because nowadays when I say some people that I say that I'm vegan to, they say, "Oh, but you're wearing this, or you're wearing leather shoes, or such and such and such, or such and such and such, or you stepped on an ant, or you stepped on a roach, or something like that." But I was never that type of vegan. So I'm telling you, there's one vegan. I call them political vegans, okay? And I stressed this before, but this is very important for me now because it's getting very important nowadays. Because lately I've been saying I was vegan and people have been thinking I was like, I call it political vegan. A political vegan is, and I stated it a little bit before, but this is very important. Now I'm clarifying it totally. So when I say I'm vegan, I never started out being a vegan, okay? I started out, as I said before in other tapes, but now I'm really solidifying this. I said that I was a whole food plant-based. And that's the book that I read, and I always talk about Juliana Hever. She's the one that helped me. She's everywhere. You could just look her up on YouTube or on Google. Juliana Hever, she's a nutritionist, and that's one reason why I'm happy that I met her through her literature because she's an actual experienced nutritionist who was a nutritionist not for just for vegans, but she worked with other people who weren't vegans, okay? But so I'm saying she knows the balance, okay? So anyway, her story was, I guess she was in this, you have to read up her story. I'm not gonna express that because I just wanted to basically show you that I was a whole food plant-based, okay? And I always said whole food plant-based. And I'm gonna show you again how in this manner, because I'm really clarifying this, about this vegan that I'm talking about, the type of vegan I'm talking about. So I was living in Denver when I became a vegan, and they had Whole Food stores, something like Whole Food. I don't know if it was Whole Food though, but they had. It was like a Whole Food store. I don't think it was a Whole Food, but it was like it was definitely maybe it was Whole Food. I'm not sure, but it was like a vegetarian or some kind of organic store. I don't know if it was Whole Foods or whatever, but I know it was easy for me to get what I wanted as far as being a vegan. And as I said before, I was for a short while following the rules of vegetarian because I didn't, I wanted to not eat meat. But then, like I said, I think I'm almost positive I said it before, I never liked milk. I never liked milk. No, I'm not, I forgot what they call it, or I forgot how you say it when you're allergic to milk. But it wasn't that, I just never liked it. When coming up as a kid, I would eat cereal, but I had to like freak myself out because I would just taste the cereal, And pretty much that's the only thing I would like milk for was like cereal. And if it didn't taste like the cereal, if I had the milk taste, I wouldn't like the cereal. So I had to put sugar in it. But basically, I really didn't like milk coming up. I never drank like glasses of milk and stuff like that. I never liked that. I never liked cheese either. Oh, my dear Lord. And my mother would cook every night. She would cook for us all the time. Somehow, thank God, she figured out that I didn't like cheese. I hated cheese. So because of that, I've always never liked cheese, but I would eat pizza or sometimes on mozzarella cheese on pizza, but it couldn't be too cheesy. And I liked ham mozzarella cheese on certain hamburgers. Not too much, but I liked it if it had like a pizza kind of taste. So, but not all the time. I really very seldom, but it had to be like American. Sorry, it had to be American mozzarella, not fresh mozzarella. Okay, but I'm just telling you, that's the only pizza cheese I liked, but I really didn't even like that much. And that's the only cheese I would eat if it was on pizza. Um, so, I'm sorry. So, that made me into say, well, if I don't like cheese and I don't like milk, well, then I might as well be vegan. And I mean, not vegan. I didn't say vegan, but it turned out that way. But I'm saying that's why I stopped. I didn't know about vegan yet, but that's why I knew I didn't want to be a vegetarian, because I knew vegetarians. There was a vegetarian at work, and she would eat cheese, and I didn't like cheese. So I knew I was going to be, very soon I knew I wasn't going to be a vegetarian. And I had, like I told you, I was at the store, and I bought pretty much, I didn't know, I called this a storage. I made up a storage. A storage, to me, in my things that I teach, is, as far as being a vegan, your storage, I have a mental storage, and I stated this in other videos. You have a mental storage. A mental storage is everything. When you go into a grocery store, I'm not talking about a food list. I'm not talking about a list. I'm not talking about a list of the things that you want to buy at the store. What I call an inventory list for food is everything when you go into a grocery store, the things that you would buy. That's your inventory, okay? So because I didn't have an inventory, a mental inventory for being a non-vegetarian, I didn't know about vegan yet, for not being a non-vegetarian, I had to make I had to make an inventory, and I bought so many things. My groceries for one person, maybe it went up to like $200. I mean, maybe it took me 2 days to buy things, but I kept buying things because I knew I had to have an inventory. And that's one thing that made me a successful vegan. And I think if you do become a vegan, if you're interested in becoming a vegan, get an inventory. And I said this a long time ago. So when I went to this health food store, I call it, or I don't know if it was Whole Foods. It just doesn't seem to me like it was Whole Foods, because I know there was a Whole Foods, and then there was this other place. It was in Denver that I would go to, and if it was, I don't know, big deal if it was Whole Food or not. But anyway, I had to make an inventory, so I got like sweet things like pastries, and they had them, like. There's just some of the things I'm trying to tell you that I bought. Like muffins, vegan muffins. I bought that. I'm just telling you, I bought beans, different kinds of beans. I bought different kinds of fruits. I bought melons. I bought, how can I say, beans. A little different, because there's so many different kinds of beans. Just so many things I'm trying to think of. Rice. I bought rice. I bought, what other things can I say that I eat? Vegetables, different kinds of vegetables. Although I knew that there's certain vegetables that I didn't buy. But anyway, just say this. Yes, I bought a lot of vegetables. there's they had this place that I'm telling you about. They had different kinds of bread. It was so neat. They had a tomato bread. They had I'm almost sure avocado bread. They had all different kinds of bread. That's why I don't think it was a Whole Food store. And I bought a tomato bread. Sometimes tomato bread would go really, really quick for me. Different kinds of bread. I'm just trying to tell you, nuts like cashews, peanut butter. I didn't have a list. I just wanted an inventory of things that I could eat, which was very good because I knew I wasn't going to go hungry, you know? And I didn't want to come back and say, oh, I need this or I need that or I did this. It was just everything that didn't have anything to do with meat, milk, eggs, or cheese. And then I made my inventory. And then I bought my book. I went to the bookstore and I came up with Julietta Hever's book, thank God. And I started reading that book. But the major thing I wanted to tell you is that I had my own inventory and I had to figure out what I wanted to eat as a vegan. Now, oh, look at this. I got to take this thing out. We've been talking so long. Let's take this thing out. Oh, my dear Lord. Okay, it's already pre-cooked. Now it's over pre-cooked. Oh, okay. So anyway, let's take this out. Oh. Now look at this. Okay, I'm gonna move it to. Oh, you can't see. I gotta put this over here so you can see. Okay. Okay, so anyway, you can't see it, but I want to move these tomatoes over to the side like this. I mean, that time came. It was 30, now it's 35. I hope it works. It was supposed to be 5 minutes. So anyway, now we got to get into this. So it was a good conversation. Did I finish about vegan? So what I wanted to say as far as a vegan is concerned, I'm going to just, because it has to cool down a little bit anyway. So what I wanted to say as far as, and I'm going to put this, I want to close this oven, but to keep it that way. But what I wanted to say as far as being a vegan is that that's how I became a vegan. There was no thinking about animals, although, you know, after you become a vegan a while, you kind of respect more the animals. But I didn't become a vegan to save the animals, you know. But you naturally do it because you're not eating meat, okay? So that came just naturally, but it was not a political purpose. It had nothing to do with like you can't wear mink, you don't want to harm the animals, you don't want to be not cruelty to animals, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with anyway. But what I'm trying to say, the reason for me becoming a vegan, to say that I'm a vegan, was basically because of a diet. And I think all vegans should be that way. I think vegans should rethink things because, yes, it's important for them to take care of the animals, but then you have yourself, and that's totally something different as far as a diet is concerned. You must think that, okay, I'm vegan, not to save the animals, although you save the animals, but that's another story. You have to think, okay, now I want to be this, I want my diet to be animal free. And then work on that separately, but don't think about animals. You're not eating animals. Think about the world of not eating animals, plant-based, okay? So I want to say that's one thing that vegans make a mistake on, because they're telling the people, they're telling everybody, like I'm saying, when you talk on YouTube, you're talking to everybody. So you don't want to say don't eat animals because it's wrong. You don't want to say that because some people they don't have time to research everything. So you're actually hurting them, because there might be, and certain people are like this, there might be a pastry is the only thing that they can eat that has eggs and milk, and they say, no, I won't eat it because it's animal, but that might be the only thing that they can eat. So, but if you tell them, okay, try your best not to eat animal, but if you're in a position to when there's nothing else to eat, you can eat it, That's what I'm trying to say, you know what I mean? Instead of them getting sick, or when they go, oh, I'm a vegan, I mean, I couldn't eat that pastry, and you needed calories, and calories are the most important thing. I don't care what it is. I mean, it's like I said, I told you one time I was a vegan and I ate like a McDonald's hamburger because I didn't have any money and my stomach didn't know what it was. It just knew it was calories and blew that motherfucker. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. And it blew that thing out the way. It was like, what did you say that was? Because I was so hungry. Okay, now, so anyway, so now we're going to do this mustard. I didn't want to say what I was going to put on it, but now I can say it. We're going to put Dijon mustard. And this is how it looks. Okay. I didn't want it to be so... It was supposed to be 1 minute. 5 minutes. And I put it in for almost 10 minutes. That's too much. But it's alright. So now, what I want to do, I think like it should be alright. I bought this Dijon mustard. It was the store brand because I'm saving. I can't spend too much money on so many things. And what I want to do is I want to spread the mustard, okay? Just spread the mustard like this. All over the pastry. So you see, I'm spreading it, but I want to, still talk a little bit. I think I could do this without glasses. It's basically reading glasses that I need. Totally reading. So, that's what I wanted to say, that I'm a vegan for my diet. Because it was funny, because I was telling everybody, and I said this before, but it's very important that I say it again, that I was telling everybody where I worked that I was, like whole food plant-based, because Juliana Hever, that's what her book was about. Even that book, Knives, Forks Over Knives, I think, it doesn't say vegan, it just says, forks over knives, And because of the political vegans, which I think we all should come together and realize that it's something totally different. Yes, you want to save the animals, but still and yet, when you talk about your diet, you're just talking about another subject. So anyway, I'm putting this mustard, Dijon mustard, all over this. Okay. Usually you can get a spicy mustard if you like very spicy things, because it's hot mustard. So you could put the hot mustard. You could put the hot mustard on. There was one also that I wanted to have white wine. I didn't know how the effect would be. And this was cheaper. It was on sale also. Okay. So anyway, you can see, like, I put it on, there's a word for it. I put it on, like, thick, okay? It's funny, when I do, whenever I do a YouTube, I have this language. It's so weird that I developed. It's pretty much for everybody, Because I took this class, and it stated, I took this one, how can you say, it's in humanities or whatever, but it was a certain kind of class, and it was just how to speak to everybody, So it's pretty much how how a mind works. And I've stated this a lot, and I think it's very important that how my my vocabulary, the things I say, the way I explain things, it's formed in this kind of YouTube manner. And it's funny because I see other people's YouTubes, and it's like it's not just me. I mean, we're developing some kind of form of speech or whatever that pretty much everybody can understand if they understand English, a little bit. So anyway, so now I have this, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these tomatoes. I don't know, maybe some of you figured it out, and I'm going to put them like this, okay, over each other. I want to get all of them in, okay, and it's like this, okay, and I want to get them all in. And you see, over the mustard, I put a lot of mustard. I mean, not that thick, but, it's got enough mustard on there. Because it's mustard tomato. And that's the way it is. I can make like a lot of shorts out of this video. And I hope you see how I'm doing it. I just wanted to get to where every one of them are used, Okay. So anyway, so did I finish my thing about being a vegan? So it's pretty much, not just that, another reason why I think it was important that I put whole food plant-based, because Juliana Heifer was also into natural sugars, not like dangerous sugars, and not things that are fried. So that's another thing that I learned about my diet is, not eating like so many like potato chips. She was against potato chips. I mean, the regular potato chips, that you find in the store that's junk food. All those things were against. I mean, now there's nice potato chips and stuff like that. But pretty much, it was very like healthy food. And that's the way I learned whole food plant-based. Okay? And so I got this, and this is done. If you can see how the tomato, how it is, how it looks. It looks very nice, doesn't it? Okay, and then I want to put, I guess the only thing I have, maybe I'll sprinkle a little salt. Oh, I guess, I don't know. I'm going to put a little salt. Not too much. I'm just doing this because I don't have any spice. But if you have a spice to put on it, I think it's a better idea. So very light. I put very light salt. And then I'm going to put like pepper. I love pepper. And I'm going to cover this with pepper. Okay. Some of it's pretty strong. And that's what we have. Let me bring this down a little bit. No, I guess it was better where I had it. Oh, yeah. Let's put it up. So you saw it, and there it goes. How it looks, okay? And now I'm going to put it in the oven for 15 to 20 more minutes. Okay? So I'm going to put this over here. So I really don't like to be off screen. Okay? So here I am. I'm putting it in the oven. Here we go. And I'm letting it cook. I'm going to look at that thing again, but I think it has to be cooked longer. I mean, because it was in the oven, the dough was in the oven for a long time. It didn't look really that bad. Let me wipe this up. So anyway, we have 10 minutes. We're gonna do everything. I'm gonna do everything online because then we're gonna talk about the other thing. Um, let's look at this. So always, even though I read them, I like to read them over again. So so it's this pre-baked dough for at 425 um, degrees for 5 minutes. Remove. We did it from oven. Add toppings and then continue baking for at 425 for 15 to 20 more minutes. So it's like it's it's it was like 50. I got 50. I'm just gonna say 50 minutes. We've been talking now. It's 60. It's 60. That it's gonna be 60 minutes. 1 hour and 10 minutes. So I'm gonna keep it in it for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Okay. So it should say now it's 51 minutes and 51 minutes. So it was 50 minutes. That's when I want to count the time. Oh, let's say 51 because now it's in. Okay. So it's 51 and then that would be like 60. That would be 1 minute. That would be 1 hour and like 10 minutes just to round it off. So 1 hour and 10 minutes it should be finished. I say it says 1 hour and 15 minutes at the most, but the thing about it is they have so many tomatoes and it's so much water. Okay, so that's why I added on that's why I added on the time. That's why I added on, a few 5 minutes more. It has something in here that's kind of strange. Something for the bread. Bread is so strange. I mean, like I'm telling you, like I want to show you this because I want to show you how it's simple. Yes, dough and making bread is simple, but you have all these little things. Like look at this. They have this little thing in. And you don't know why, okay? But there's people who've been doing bread. Like I can say like the French. They've been doing bread for so long. And they know all these little things about it. So it is something that's very, very simple, but yet there's a lot of things nuances, that's what they call it, nuances, these little things that get in the way that you have to understand. Okay, now, while this is baking, there was another point. Being a successful vegan. That's the next thing I wanted to talk about. So, being a successful vegan. I thought about this from yesterday. I came up with the title, but I've been thinking about it for a long time. But I didn't want to say it because like I said, I like to know 100% sure whether I'm saying something that really is true. You know what I mean? And what I found was sometimes you have to say it. Sometimes I have to say it. Let me see if I can get this thing. Okay, I just want to clean this. So I'm cleaning up now. Sometimes I have to say things because I know it's right, and I've waited so long. But I didn't get to where I want to go yet, but I still have to say it because I know it's right, even though I didn't get 100% sure, So anyway, so now I'm going into being a successful vegan. The first thing overlaps is what I told you. I'm talking a lot. The first thing overlaps is what I'm talking to you about. The one thing about being old, and I think that this is another point that you can learn from. Paul Newman said, Robert Redford, he passed away, and he made me notice something because he said in one of his I was, because I'm looking at some of the things I really liked. My mother really liked him too, and I really like his movies. And this is nowadays you can't just like see movies in the '60s and '70s. And I'm going on a tangent now, but it's important. Um, Back then, back in the '60s and '70s, you always had like free time. It was more free time. Nowadays, you don't really have free time, but unless you got a lot of money. But back then you had a lot of free time to talk to your friends, to go to the movies, to do this, to do that. And what I wanted to say is, that's what I would like to do. I would like to see some of his movies sometime. That's one thing I wanted to say that. Now, coming out of that is that Robert Redford said something that I've been listening to other people also. And I always was interested in older people when I was young. I was never pretty much interested in my own age, especially in my 20s. I found really nothing interesting in my age category. Like when I was like just young, like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Anybody my age, I really didn't really pay too much attention to. I enjoyed my friends, but as far as learning something, as far as really being intrigued, I was mostly intrigued by older people. So I was telling you about Robert Redford, and it was good because now I learned a lot of things about being old before I got old. And I noticed that he said something, and I noticed that other people say things about old age, which is very good because it helps you. Really helps you. 100%. You're talking about your life. It helps 100% when you get older. And Cher said some things about being older, and that helped. You know what I mean? And certain people who are just, I don't think Madonna really helps out. She just, somebody who just doesn't see themselves older doesn't really help out that much. Somebody who sees their body changing, sees the changes, actually helps people out because they go, this is this way and this is this way. You know what I mean? So Cher helped me out because she always, and she was older for a while, and she always said, I can't do this, or I'm older, stuff like that. And it helps you out because it's subconsciously when you're young, you go, what? Because like I said, I was interested in older people, but it was like I never saw that they had any problems. You know what I mean? I always thought it was like beautiful, the most beautiful thing to be. And Robert Redford said, you could do things very easily when you're younger. And he was serious. He was really helping a lot. He helped me just recently because I heard this video that he was talking about. He said, can I say something? And he goes, yeah, you can say more something. He goes, well, I wanted to say that, and I want to look at this time. Okay. He goes, I want to say that when I was younger, there was so many things that I could do. And then when I got older, I had to be very careful. I couldn't just do what I wanted to do, And one thing I wanted to say as far as that, because I'm going off on tangents, it's just like even speaking on YouTube, okay? I'm speaking on YouTube now. I always practice my voice because I'm a singer, okay? So I always have to be conscious, but I noticed that you also have to be careful and you have to know exactly what you're doing when you're speaking after a while, or else you just lose it. You know what I mean? So you have to pay attention to so many things that you do when you get older. And that's what Paul Newman was saying. He was saying everything is so easy because when I wanted to do something, I just did it. And like I'm helping a lot of people because you won't have these problems when you become older because you listened, okay? And it's very hard. And a lot of older people won't say it because a lot of them are in like this dream world. And they still think they're young. I never got old, and I never said, I feel young. I don't know how in the world you could feel young. It's just like I feel different, but I don't feel like I'm a child. All those things, forget it. For me, I say forget it, okay? So that's why he helped me out. He was like, now I can't. And if you try and do it, it could be pretty dangerous. So you have to pretty much be careful everything you do. And even when I'm speaking, okay? If I don't learn what I'm doing when I'm speaking, and it's one good thing about it is when you get older, it's easier for you to figure out what you're doing when you're doing it. Like I'm speaking now, I can pretty much pay attention about what I'm doing. When I was younger, it was pretty much hard to do. So that's a benefit, but most people don't use it. But you can when you're younger. Even when I was younger, I wanted to know how I did this, how I did that, but it was difficult. But I kept doing it. So that's going off on a tangent, and I'm still at the point to where I'm saying being a successful vegan. So now how can I go back and tell you about being a successful vegan? So now, because I went off so many tangents, and it was important. So now going back to being a successful vegan. Why did I feel like I'm a successful vegan? Like I told you, the first thing is having that inventory. But then you find a system, like you know what you want to eat for breakfast. Because of the way my inventory, I knew, because I made the inventory, like I told you, mental inventory, I knew what I wanted, what I could eat for breakfast. Okay? And the thing about it is, like when I bought breakfast things, I bought too many things. Like I said, it was, how can I say, how many years ago? It was over 10 years ago. And I bought like $200 worth of groceries one time. Maybe I went back and forth, but at one time, But I found out what I wanted to eat for breakfast. I found out what I wanted to eat for lunch. And I found out what I wanted to eat for dinner. Okay? Everything. Oh, I also put spaghetti on that also, because there's a lot of things I can't come up with so quick. So that's what the inventory is. And don't try and fake it. Don't try and think that some people try and think that they know everything, and I know I want this. You need the inventory. And I'm seeing this. Okay, now it's going almost at 1:10. We're going to take this out. I'm going to take a look at it and see. Let's just look at it and see. Okay, let's see how it looks. I'm going to put you right over here by the oven. And let's see how it looks. So I want to show you how it looks. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to flick it around. Okay. And that's how it looks for now, but it's not ready yet. Okay. Okay. So we saw it, and it's not ready. Yeah, okay. The tomatoes, oh wow. Okay, you want the tomatoes to be like dried up. Sort of like dried up, And I can see that they have so much water in them, okay? So I'm not gonna leave, okay. Maybe I won't finish. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not going to think about that. So being a successful vegan. So I made the inventory, so I knew what I wanted to eat for dinner. I knew what I wanted to eat for lunch. I knew what I wanted to eat for breakfast. I knew that. This thing is kind of odd. Okay. So anyway, I knew all those things because, excuse me, because I had the inventory. Don't try and fix. When I tell you something, it's because I went through a lot of things to understand it, okay? So unless you want to go through everything that I went through and make up our own thing, that's up to you, but that's going to take a lot of time. That's all you have to do is listen, okay? When somebody said they went through everything, do it, and then try and find something else different. But don't try and find your own way and then come up to what I said, okay? What I'm trying to say is, okay, it's like I have to say this as far as believing in God, okay? A lot of people don't believe in God nowadays because they don't want to believe in God. But what are you doing? You're going back to like 0th century, going before century 1, okay? A negative 1, okay? BCE. You're going to BCE time. Whenever you say you don't believe in God, you're going to BC time. BCE, okay? Before Common Era, BCE, before Common Era, or or how can you say it? There's two of them. Now there's two of them because there's BCE is before God, before Christ's era, okay? And they also made it before Common Era, but it's really made from Jesus, okay? So anyway, when you say you don't believe in God, you're actually going back that time, and you have to go through everything that everybody went through, okay? So you say you don't believe in God, and I'm just saying from my point of view, I don't say anything against anybody. It's just I'm just telling you from my point of view, when you say you don't believe in God, I'm saying that it's not bad, it's not good. I'm just saying that's what you're doing because back at that time, nobody believed in God. Most people didn't know who God was. So they had to go through everything to understand who God was. So I'm saying that whenever you say you don't understand something that's commonplace, you're going back in time. Okay? So what I was telling you about as far as that's what I did when I became vegan. To be a successful vegan, I got an inventory. Once I got that inventory, so that means like if you're not a vegan now, go find all the things that you can eat as far as whole food, plant-based. Load up everything. Your cabinets, if you got money, I say you spend just, I would say nowadays $500 on vegan food, okay? Because you're making an inventory. Some things you won't eat, some things you will eat, okay? So then I did that. So that's one thing that made me a successful vegan because I had a good start. Not just that, but I also studied being plant-based. You're not going to learn it from a political vegan. You're going to learn it from a nutritionist, okay? Because when you say you're a political vegan, that's in another area, which I totally agree with. I'm into Greenpeace and everything like that. But I'm saying a diet is totally different. And you got to realize that whole food plant-based and your diet has nothing to do with animals whatsoever. It's almost as if the kind of whole food plant-based I am, it's kind of as if animals don't exist, okay? I mean, I know they exist, but they don't exist at all for eating, okay? So that's the kind of vegan. That's another thing another point as far as being a successful vegan. It's almost time. 1 hour. I said 1 hour. 1 hour and 10 minutes is good, but now it's 1 hour and 6 minutes. So I don't know if it's gonna be done or not. So then that's another thing. Okay. So that was another thing to be a successful vegan. So once you got your diet. Okay. So now after you did all these things and you got your diet. Okay, and it's going well for you, okay? Noticing how your body changes, that's another important thing. One thing I noticed, that it was hard for me I would get up at night. I mean, I couldn't like sleep, but then I figured it out. I figured out that my body is changing, which a lot of times, and this is another secret I learned from life, when you're not sleeping, and you wake up in the middle of the night, your body's relaxing, okay? So just enjoy it. I did it by mistake. I wake up in the middle of the night all the time. I've always woke up in the middle of the night, and I've always enjoyed it. And I always know that my body is still relaxing. It does not take away from your sleep unless you do something. Like if you lay in bed and your body does not, maybe, I mean, you can have a glass of water by your bed or whatever, but if you go do something, then you're taking, then you're using energy, and then you're not relaxing. But if you cannot sleep and you lay in bed or whatever, you're not taken away from your sleep. You're not being taken away from sleep. If you go to the bathroom, yes, that's fine. But you could do so many things without getting up and doing something. But if you do get up and do something, remember, then you're losing your sleep. Then you're losing your relaxation. Because if you do something, your body won't wake up on that time that you're supposed to wake up. You could sit down, you could relax as long as you relax. I'm just saying, if you do a strenuous, like cooking or reading or something engaging your body when you can't sleep, you're taken away from your sleep. But if you relax, you can get up, walk a little bit, you can sit down a little bit. Anything that doesn't have to do with utilizing calories or utilizing your time, just relax. But just know this: if you wake up in the middle of the night, like I said, one thing I found myself doing is waking up. But it's important because your body's changing, and some changes in your body, they need you awake. Some changes in your body that happens while you're sleeping, some things you have to be awake, okay? It's like some operations or some things you have to be like awake, you know? Well, that's just that. It's just, it's like, I think even dental procedures, you have to be like awake, you know what I mean? I had this one friend, she goes, I'd never been to the dentist because my teeth were always all right. She goes, but if I went to the dentist, I wouldn't know what to do. They would have to put me out. They would have to, she said they would have to put her under, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about anesthesia. And I go, wow. And that's a big deal because like my dentist, she would never survive him because I feel some things, you know what I mean? But I've been used to it, you know what I mean? But I can't imagine how when you do your teeth, when the dentist does your teeth, it is a lot of mental things that your mind goes through. So what I was saying, I'm just saying that some things that happen to your body at night, your body needs you to be alert. I don't know what it is. You don't have to worry about it because your body's doing it naturally. And you're up, and it's up for a reason, you know? So that's one good point as far as being a vegan. You have to realize that. Now, look at, it's 13. Let's go look at it, okay? Maybe I'm going to look at it, but I'm not going to put it down again because that's too much. But I'm just going to look and see how it is. Let me see. I'm going to take it out a little bit. I got the towel here. Okay. I'm going to take it out and see how it looks. It looks very good, but from experience, it has to be cooked a little bit more. So anyway, so being a successful vegan. So I can show you how it looks now, and then I can wait and then put it on because I might close this out because it's taken a long time. And the tomatoes have so much liquid in it that it needs to cook until it's like a cooked tomato. So it might be a little bit longer. So I'm going to pretty much close this, and then I'm going to put it on a short, okay, the finished product. But we went through everything that I said I was going to go through. And other things of being a successful vegan, so I'm going to finish this. Another thing to being a successful vegan is, like I said, okay, that time I told you, like being more aware of your body. when you're sleeping, when you wake up, um, just being in tune with your body. It's important, like when you're hungry, what do you want to eat? I mean, a lot of times you don't want to look at the book. I read the book, but then after you read the book, you have to learn on your own because you can't go over what do I need here, what do I need here, but you need to find out like what things have in it. Okay, which leads me to another point that I wanted to make. These are the things I've learned, and you can learn them differently too. Fruits, vegetables are totally different. Okay. When I'm talking about vegan, we're talking about things that have calories and things that are packed with energy. Okay. So vegans, I'm not saying, I'm almost sure vegetarians are different because they get a lot of energy from their cheeses, their milk, and their eggs. That's a lot of energy. And when I say energy, I mean calories. So they basically worry about fruits and vegetables for taste and things like that. When you're vegan, you don't have eggs, you don't have milk, and you don't have cheese. That's a lot of calories, which in turn is a lot of energy. Okay? So you have to be more, not cautious, you have to be more noticeable of um, things that you eat. Okay, so vegetables, it's important, but they're not. Those are side dishes. Vegetables are sides. Fruits are side because you're not getting any energy from that. You're not getting energy from salads, and it takes a lot of energy to eat a salad. It takes more energy to eat a salad than to make it and eat it. Okay, I mean it takes than to okay. It takes more energy to eat a salad. Okay, to make it and eat it, that's more energy. Okay, so there's not going to be anything stored. By the time you finish the salad, you've wasted more energy. Okay, the time you made and ate the salad, you need more energy. So forget about that. That's a side dish. When you talk about fruits, that's another thing. It's not packed with anything, okay? Unless some fruits are, but still and yet it's not enough, okay? So we have those two things. What do I use fruits? What I use vegetables for? Vegetables are very good. Vegetables to me, and I'm talking about being a successful vegan, vegetables and fruit are like, I can say, are more like a medicine, not a very soft form of medicine, okay? Because I'll eat, like eggplant, oh, and I want to tell you, my teeth has nothing to do with being a vegan. I never took care of my teeth. So, and that's another subject. I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna get into some of the things what happened to my teeth, but it's really my fault. One thing, I had a dentist, and he told me what to do, and I didn't believe him. I was young, and I said that's not true, because I had extra wisdom teeth, and he told me you have to take them out. It's a more in-depth story, but I really didn't listen to him, and he told me. And I said, oh, no big deal. But anyway, that's another story. So it has nothing to do with my diet has nothing to do with my teeth. But anyway, what I was saying, and then fruits, it's like a soft medicine. You cannot eat, there's certain things, fruits, that you can eat all the time. There's the fruits that you can eat all the time, and there's the fruits that you can't eat all the time. They will make you sick. They will make you sick. Like, for instance, orange juice is something that you can eat all the time. Okay? But you have to take breaks, but you can eat them all the time. Always drink orange juice, but sometimes you take breaks on it, okay? Apples, you can eat them all the time, but you have to take breaks every so often when your body doesn't want it. When you don't feel like it, you know what I mean? Orange juice you can eat it more than apples, okay? And so I'm just giving you an idea of how I became a successful vegan. I had to learn this. Fruit, vegetables. There's certain kind of vegetables like broccoli. I ate a lot of broccoli. I don't know what it is about broccoli, but it builds something. Okay, but I've ate so much broccoli that my body made something. I don't know how to say it, but when you're vegan, you're different. It's something that broccoli helped me become, okay? But then I can't eat it anymore. Sometimes, but not too much, you know what I mean? But there was a time when I needed broccoli. So I'm telling you, it's like you, certain vegetables and fruits you cannot eat all the time. And if you don't feel like eating them, and that's what I'm saying, you go by the book all the time. Once you read the book, you have to, it has to be in your gut feeling. So I knew not to eat any more broccoli. I just didn't feel like it. Another thing is like I had ginger. I used to eat ginger all the time, and I used to have hay fever. And the funny thing about it is I ate like ginger everything, to where I didn't have hay fever anymore. You know what I mean? You know, like during the seasons, I stopped having it. And I didn't want the ginger anymore. So the ginger produced something. I don't know what it is. And that's something that I think I'm not a doctor, but I think that they should look at, is that sometimes certain things that you eat will change your body to where it doesn't need it anymore. Immune it, something like immune it, okay? But I can't tell you why, but a doctor or a nutritionist could tell you why if they researched it. Okay, so that's about the fruits and vegetables. What other vegetable? Peas, I eat them sometimes. It has nothing to do with beans. I don't call them vegetables. Carrots, sometimes I like carrot juice. I'll drink carrot juice, like, I'm going to tell you how I do it. When I want carrot juice, I'll drink it, and I'll drink it for like a week or so, okay? Maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, mostly like a week now. And I'll drink the whole thing, not every day, not the whole bottle, but, oh, I like carrot juice, and I'll drink it, and I'll drink it, then I'll leave it alone again. So that's how carrot juice, but I will not continually eat something that I don't need, that I don't feel for it, okay? And that's Americans are like this, which is not too good. When they think something is good, they think they have to do everything. Okay, sugar's bad. Don't put any sugar in anything. It doesn't work like that, okay? If you jump 3 times, you'll lose weight. Oh, jump 3 times. I'm going to jump 3 times here. I'm going to jump 3 times here. Instead of, that's just America. American, when they find something, they think that's the paradise, which that's not true. So that's another thing in being successful as far as vegetables and fruit. And now it's on hour and 22 minutes. So I want to finish this now. So what else can I say about being a successful vegan? So that's another point. What I was trying to tell you is internalize things, okay? Like I can feel that, because I know the protein that I need, feel like the things that you need for protein, okay? And that comes with your storage, your I could say food storage that you came up with, you know what I mean? Your mental storage. Know which foods that have your proteins. Know which foods that have your calcium, okay? And a lot of some vegetables have calcium, so you want to do that. And then you have kale. I'll eat kale sometime. I won't eat it all the time. It's like a soft medicine type thing. If I want kale, I'll eat it for a while, but I don't have to have it all the time. But my body will feel that, I don't want that anymore. So feeling what your body wants to eat is next, okay? I used to eat like at work, because they have certain foods, and like chocolate, even though it was milk chocolate or dark chocolate, I mean, they have them in bins, all different kinds, and I used to eat it all the time. I stopped. So I started listening to my body. The more you listen to your body as being a vegan, as far as nutrition is concerned, you have to learn it first. It's just not doing it automatically. It comes with time. So then you'll understand after a while. I mean, a while, after 5 years or so, you can pretty much feel that you need more protein, or if you're missing, because we have protein, certain proteins are not complete proteins, so you need certain kind of proteins. I think this thing is almost ready, so I want to finish this though. So your body will feel that something's off, okay? Even with the vitamins, then you don't have to research it, because you did it so long. Your body will request something. You know what I mean? You can feel it because you've had it before. That's your storage. You go through your storage and you go, maybe I need this, or maybe I need that. You know what I mean? Like calcium. You need you can eat some things that's fortified. With oranges you can eat by itself, but if you eat like almond milk, this is one thing I learned. Almond milk, you just can't drink it by yourself because it's fortified. Something fortified, you need to eat it with a meal. Like your fruits, vegetables, and things that are fortified, you should eat it. What I've learned being successful, you should eat it with other things, okay? Because sometimes to get the vitamins, to get the things to work, it needs other things. It may need sugar, it may need calcium, it may need iron, it may need these things. So that's what this tape is. We got our pizza. I don't know, pizza, pie, tomato, mustard pie, or whatever it's going to be called. I talked about that. I talked about being successful. I finished it out with being a successful vegan. And the other thing was different kinds of vegans. So the type of vegan I am is a whole food, plant-based vegan. And I wanted to stress that because it's very important, because you meet so many people who say they're vegan now. And next time when somebody say they're a vegan, you should say, what type of vegan are you? The reason why I had to say I'm a vegan, because there's only, we share words. And you definitely learned that on this YouTube, on my YouTube, about sharing words, sharing knowledge. And because we share knowledge, we have to use certain words. And we can't be like, even I've created a American yoga, okay? And I made it American yoga because a lot of people know about yoga. So that's why we use the same words. We share. And I wanted to share, I'm sharing that word with the political vegans. And I hope that they realize that they're sharing it with me. I learned some things from them, and they learned from me. So anyway, that's what it is today. I'm almost sure it's not going to be ready, but I'm going to show you how it looks now, okay? Tomato Dijon mustard. And this is how it looks now. And I'm going to keep it, I'm going to take it out now because it looks like it's ready. Okay? And yeah, because what you want it to be is you want it to be, I'm going to show it to you close up because I'm going to do a short. I'm going to turn this oven on. Okay. What you want it to be is you want it to see the tomato as if they dehydrated. You want that tomato to be, I call it dehydrated. Or, you know, like just, you know, the water is consumed, the water's left, kind of like a dried out tomato. So I want to show you that, and then that's going to be it. So it was a long time, and thanks for hanging in there with me, but it was important being a vegan. Thank you very much. And I'm going to end it with showing you this Dijon mustard tomato pie. Okay? Here it goes. I'm going to switch it to here. So this is the Dijon mustard tomato pie. I could have put, but I didn't forget. It's supposed to be thyme, but instead I put salt and pepper. Okay? And then what I'm going to do when I eat it is I'm going to put a little bit of avocado on the piece that I eat. And I'll show you that later on when I use the avocado. because I always like the avocados to be just on the piece that I'm eating, okay? Because you know how avocado is, okay? And I'll show you that when I do the avocado. So that's it for the vegan Dijon mustard tomato pie. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.